Yes, guys. So first of all, let's analyze the data. Let's see what the data has for us. So today's NFPD, as we all know, and we have the non-farm unemployment change data. We have it with average hourly earnings and unemployment rates for the US. So big day as we are waiting for NFP, December NFP for the last um, month of the year. So we have the average hourly earnings for the USD at 0.4. That's last two previous months, and they're forecasting last month's data to be go at 0.4, 0.3. That is actually 0.1% less. Then look at non-farm employment change, which actually NFP itself. Last 2 months we had at 12,000 um, jobs that were actually changed, which was actually very less from the forecast. And now they are expecting more jobs to be added at 218k. And we look at unemployment rate. Unemployment rate is actually 4.1 in that two previous months, and they are actually expecting it to still remain the same at 4.1. So this is what actually the market is telling us, or what they are expecting of the data to be released. So when we look at this, we're actually looking at unemployment change. So they are suspecting a weak average hourly earnings. Sorry, they're actually looking at a weaker dollar. NFP, they are looking at a positive dollar, according to the forecast, and they are hoping unemployment rate will still remain the same. Right. So this is for forex factory. Now let's go to there are actually some other news that will come later in the day. That's consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So let's go to investing.com and also check what is there. I mostly want to compare these two news sites to know what actually we are looking at. So if you have average hourly earnings month over month again here 0.4, 0.3, same as Price Factory. We have average hourly earnings year by year. We have non-farm payroll 12k and expectation is 202k. So look at the expectation here. Expectation here is 218k, but the expectation here is actually 200. Okay, this is non-farm payroll. Yes, this is non-farm payroll. This is actually 202. So you see the difference. And we have private non-farm payroll, which is actually not here on Forex Factory, but it's here on investing.com. And we have unemployment rate, unemployment change for card, unemployment rate. So that's our news also coming with the NFP news today. We also we have some FOMC members that are going to speak later in the day, which is not actually seen here on Forex Factory, but here on investing.com. So this is why I do some of these comparisons. Actually expecting a bullish dollar. But this is very confusing, right? When you have them looking at a negative, expecting a negative average hourly earnings, and then expecting a positive NFP data, and also expecting a neutral unemployment rate, it becomes very tricky. So it means that markets will be very tricky. So one trick you have to learn on this is that when the market will always react before the news here, or when the news is released, the market is going to react to the forecast first. So whatever data comes out for the actual, market will react to the forecast first before it reacts to the actual. That is why you always have to wait and watch the data before you enter the market. But if you gamble and you enter early and it goes your favor, you win. Hey, if it doesn't go your favor, then you know that you're losing money. So I hope you don't gamble. I hope you trade. So yeah, that is the data. Let's just jump right into the chart. So getting into the technicals, let's take a look at the dollar index first. So on the weekly time frame, we realized that the dollar index took previous year's high, that's 2023 high, and we had a bearish candle last week, which actually shows some bearishness in the dollar, which actually indicating some bearishness. Yeah, that bearish candle was huge. And we actually came into this weekly fair value gap, right? So we are resting in this weekly fair value gap, which actually acted as a support for the beginning of the year. Yesterday we printed another bearish candle, very big bearish candle, which is still showing bearishness in the dollar. So for um for the dollar, the DXY is looking very bearish because we have a lot of new day opening gaps and new week opening gaps down here below, which actually serving as liquidity. So what I'm expecting, right, technically with the dollar is this weekly fair value gap here is still holding price. So two things can happen, but at the end I'll know what to expect according to the news, right? So we can have this weekly fair value gap holding and still propelling price to the upside, right? Or we can have this weekly fair value gap breached, and then we can go for all these liquidities down here. We have a daily volume imbalance, price imbalance here. We have another one here. We have the new week open gap that was left open during the beginning of November here, which is actually all liquidity areas that the DXY or the dollar will have to go to, right? So two things for but I favor the sells. I favor DXY sells, and I favor the DXY going in down. So I'm actually expecting NFP numbers to come in lesser than forecast, do justice to all this liquidity down here. So what's actually a setup on DXY? So I'm bearish on the DXY. Look at GU, right? Let's look at GU. I'm actually yeah, bullish on GU, right? Because look at this. Let's look at the weekly time frame. If you look at the weekly time frame, you had a very big bullish engulfing candle on GU, and we had the beginning of the week coming to, that's Monday's candle, coming down to this weekly order block. So this weekly order block open, right, got it tapped in. So this now becomes a weekly order block here. So this is a weekly order block open, right? We had GU coming to hit it on Monday, and then let's even talk about structure first, right? Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. Let's talk about structure. If you watch this market structure, we realize that we've had a market structure shift from this side, because this was the last lower high that was created, which actually caused the market structure shift with a bullish engulfing candle, right? And when we draw a fib, right, from this swing low to this swing high, we're actually looking at GU respecting the 0.5 level, right? Just the 0.5 level here on the fib retracement too, which actually also coincided with the weekly order block open. That is why we find out that this bullish move on GU, and actually this move, I sent this signal to my Telegram page, right? I sent it to my Telegram page. That is it. I sent it to my Telegram page on Monday that they should look at these buys, and then we've made a lot of profit on this. So if you're not in my Telegram channel, make sure I leave a link in the description below. Just look for it and click on it and join. Just take advantage of this, right? But I'm expecting, so just by the way, so I'm expecting GU to continue higher, but actually I'm still expecting this fair value gap to be filled, and that is one of the main objectives I'm looking for. I don't know how it's going to be done, but I suspect we can get a wick down. If we get a wick down to the side, and then probably we can continue higher on GU. This fair value gap can actually be left open because we have a balanced price range around here, right? So this fair value gap here on GU around the 0.5 fib retracement will still remain intact, and price will just try to move. What's happening? Oh, yeah. So this fair value gap was respected. That is why we took this bias, and it was actually just in the mean threshold of that. But I was actually looking for this fair value gap, which actually also coincides with the 0.61. Sorry, this paper has to be here. Has to be here. Yeah. See, this fair value gap actually coincides with the 0.61 level. Actually, I think it's white, so we can see. Let me change the color to gold. Yeah. See 0.61, 0.618 level, which actually is in deep retracement. But it came at equilibrium and we started buying from there. I wanted this at discount prices and we start buying. So simply looking for any movement to the downside is actually an opportunity for mobile, because GU has shifted structure. So same for EU, any move to the downside is an opportunity for more buys. So EU, we can take the sell side liquidity here. I'm expecting them to take this sell side liquidity. Probably that's going to be I think Monday's lows. Probably you can get a sharp move to the downside, and we can get a long from here. If not, you just, then you can put your stop loss just below here. But about just, if you want to be safe, you can just put your stop loss below here, just about 40 pips. And you can take this right all to the upside. So first of all, yeah, the dollar is bearish, and GU buys, EU buys. So if not, right, we just have a breakout. So this now becomes a resistance area here. If not, we just get a breakout. If the news is very positive, we just get a breakout from here, and then we move back, we move to the upside. So get something like this. We just get a very positive, a very negative news for the DXY. We just break out and then retest, and then probably might not even get a retest because price wants to move up. So we just join the buys. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at on G. So same for all GUSD, to the upside, USD card, probably to also to the downside. So let's look at gold. So gold is actually very interesting, right? So let's look at gold. So a negative DXY will mean a positive movement for gold. When we look at gold, right, gold is actually coming from a higher time frame weekly fair value gap. We're actually in a very, 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 very bull market from the beginning of the year, right? We're actually in a very bull market. So uh, this was actually a tap in the weekly fair value gap, as you can see very beautifully. I mean, consequent encroachment of that. By the way, I use ICT concepts. So if you're hearing some things you've not heard before, know that I use ICT concepts, right? So we're coming from a weekly fair value gap, and we are expecting to go a little bit more higher before the year end. So actually, when we take this leg, this liquidity, this move to the upside, right? When we take this one, we realize that we've actually tapped into the 0.618 area on the fib, which actually coincided with this daily fair value gap here, which is very clean. Daily fair value gap here, which was very clean. We didn't actually come into it so much, but then the fibs will always keep price, right? The 0.61, we are still in discount, so we can move from there. We came into discounts and we started moving up, but then we started getting some consolidation this week because I mean price is waiting for NFP numbers to know where it's going to go. So good, simply we are looking at this pattern here. We've actually been consolidating for the whole of the week, and I'm looking for a breakout of this pattern. Yesterday we had a breakout here downside and we quickly repriced. If we break above 650, this 650 2650 area is a very psychological area. So we've been here for some time. I'm looking for price to break above this 2650 area, and then I'll take that price depending on the news. But gold can also go to the downside because if you look at this, look at the current trend is actually also in a downtrend. Look at the 4 hour, we are making series of um, some lows and higher highs and higher lows and lower highs. So we made a lower low, made a lower high. We can continue to go lower, but gold is actually in an uptrend, so you don't want to be. I'm not actually looking for sales on gold. So everything is going to be confirmed when the dollar news comes, and it comes in. It can come in bullish, right? It can come in bullish for the dollar, and dollar can go up, and gold can still sell and GU. So let's look at it. Let's look at another scenario for the sales on GU. The other scenario is that, right, when you look at GU here, GU has a fair value gap, right? We have a fair value gap, a daily fair value gap here. That price can go and tap into, which actually price is very close to it. Let me take this now off. Price is very close to this. Let's go to the weekly. When we look at the weekly, we have this weekly fair value gap also in the daily fair value gap. That price is very close to. Okay. So when we look at the daily fair value gap, we can go in here and we can start to sell off. If the dollar news comes in positive, we can start selling off from here. So that's also a bearish scenario for GU if anything should go positive for the dollar. The GU can actually sell from here as well. Okay, so we have two scenarios. Same for EU. So as well, we have this weekly fair value gap here, which can be traded into and then can act as resistance for more sales to the downside in the coming days. So yeah, basically that is what. So gold also can also do the same. Okay, gold can also do the same. Although we are consolidating, we can break to the downside or the upside. So any break above, any break below, yeah. Okay, we can take it to the downside. We have another block resting here, so we can take sales from here, can sell from here to the downside, or probably back into the weekly fair value gap, and we can continue, or we can just break above 206.50 area. So this 206.50 area is very key. So you have to be watching this zone very closely. Okay, so yeah, that is what you should be looking at. But for me personally, I'm looking for a negative dollar index. If anything should come out differently, Yes, anything can happen. This weekly fair value gap can hold. So same idea. So just use the same idea. So let's talk about my favorite moves. Let's watch the JPX, the Japanese index. So let's look at this. The weekly, we've had a very steady channel to the downside. Beautiful one. And during this year, we broke out of it, right? We broke out of it. We came back into this 0.61. You guys see how the FIPS are very important. So look at it. We had this breakout from the channel and we came into the 0.61 area and we rejected for it beautifully. So, when we reject up the discount areas, we should be looking at going back to the zero area and probably going back to the 0.5, negative 0.5 standard deviations. I'm actually bullish on the JPX, the Japanese yen, and throughout from now to the next year. Yeah, very bullish because they've been raising interest rates while other economies or other countries are cutting their interest rates. So let's look at it from the daily point of view. Okay, so when you look at the JPX index, right, we've had some bullish market, we've had some bullish moves, which I expect to continue. But when you look at this, we had a weekly order block here that is keeping price down. Okay, and we have a very strong order block here, demand area that some people say demand area. So I'm actually looking at this order block to continue to propel price back up. Okay, so it translates to GJ. Okay, so GJ also has been in a downtrend for a very long time. I've reading this move for some time, and this order block is still remains huge for me, right? So the same order block that is keeping JPX is going to keep JPX to go up. I expect this order block to also hold and then continue to propel JPY, GBP JPY to the downside. So we should know where we are coming from. We're actually coming from a weekly fair value gap, which actually got um, tapped into, and we started seeing some rejections. So I'm expecting this daily order block to hold. Okay, this daily order block to actually hold, and I want to see price move back. But let's look at this on the weekly time frame. When you look at the weekly time frame, the last week that we had for this candle has not closed yet. This weekly candle has not closed, so we cannot call this a fair value gap. Okay, but then look at this wick here, right? I want price to definitely close into this wick, probably wick off this one, and then we can still move down. And when you come to the daily time frame and you look at the last wick where I've actually delineated, right? You see the wick here, you actually have a daily fair value gap here, a daily fair value gap here. So see, there's a daily FVG. So I'm expecting GJ to trade into the daily FVG if it disrespects this order block here. Okay, so if I take a trade here and I get a loss, I'm actually going to take another sell here, which is actually going to be like, okay, that means the fair value gap on the weekly actually has been closed, and we have a balanced price point, a balanced price area. So GBP, JPY will have to continue its downwards movement to the downside. You get my point. So this is also what I'm looking at on GBP, JPY. Same for the dollar JPY. If dollar is weak and JPY is strong, I expect this order block to hold. We've actually reacted over it on Wednesday, and there's actually a fair value up to the upside we can trade into. When it comes to the JPY index, right, all depends on the JPY. When it comes to the JPY pairs, you have to be looking at the JPY index, the currency index for the Japan. So when you have all these moves to the downside, right, no matter how weak the dollar is, USD JPY will still move up because the JPY is coming down. So the Japan currency is actually the mover for the Japanese pairs. Okay, so you have to be watching the Japanese pairs and the Japanese index very closely. I'm looking at these shots on this GJ into this fair value gap or this order block. Any of them can respect. Those are my PDRs I'm looking at. So recap on the setups that we've shared earlier and the ideal scenarios you are looking out for. A bearish dollar will actually looking for GU, EU, AUD, USD buys, good buys. And if we get the inverse here, you know what, we've given the whole ideal areas where you can sell GU and where you can actually also buy GU, where you can sell gold around 200 650 area, and then also uh, buy gold above it. And GJ, as for GJ, is clear. GJ, I'm looking for sales, no buys, just typical sales. And yes, basically, um, Nasdaq, I'm looking for more buys to upside. I've actually not done any analysis on it because I don't even want to trade it during NFP. And US30 also, but I'm still bullish on the indices though. The stock indices, I'm still bullish on indices. Silver, still more buys. Yeah, look good for buys, or we can sell depending on the news. And gold, as we said, we spoke earlier. So yes, guys, this is what I have for NFP and the week ahead of the days left in December and the rest of the year. So guys, please forgive me for my voice. It's been bad. I've got some flu, so some cold. So before you leave, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, make sure you leave a comment if you liked it, and things that you think I deserve to know, and share it to your friends as well. Trade safe, guys, and we'll meet another time in my next video.